Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Delco Cross Country Podcast. With you, as always, this is your host, Kevin. And I gotta give it to you. Delco Cross Country is something special. It really is. I mean, at this point, I created this podcast a little over a year ago. This is season 2, second year I'm really following Delco Cross Country as a whole. This has 2,109 plays, an audience size of 116, pretty much per week at this point. And it's just a small Delaware County sized podcast. And y'all keep pushing. There's 33 episodes of this. It's fantastic to see the community come out and really support this podcast. Thank you so much. Before I get started, before I get into everything with this unscripted podcast today, this is just going to be reading stats basically, but I have to go over a few things. First off, if you haven't already, give this podcast a 5-star review. Leave a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. It's for the algorithm. So if you can't do it for me, do it for the algorithm. All right. So this week there was a lot of things, and it proved to me this week that cross country is ultimately one of the biggest team sports there is. It takes every single person on the line. No one is more important than anybody else. And you all showed me this week, whether it came to District 1 championships, District 12 championships, the Pennsylvania Independent School state championships. All of these things showed you the importance from the runner number 1 to runner number 7 in reality. I mean, if you take a look at this. First off, Episcopal, they were missing 2 of their top guys. They're missing Eli Engelman. They're missing John Ricketts. Take those 2 out of the equation, and you're going to fall back against a team like Penn Charter. Bonner Prendy in District 12, same thing. Like, they weren't missing anybody this week. They were not even close to being favored against Lansdale Catholic. Bonner Prendy only lost by 2 points. Might have been 3 points. But catch my drift. They have only lost by a few points when they were supposed to lose by 20 at District 12 championships. District 1 championship, same thing. You're looking at teams all around where number 1 is just as important, number 5 is just as important as number 7. And all around, we have state qualifiers going to states from Delaware County, some from District 12, some from District 1. But in reality, it took the whole team to really get a lot of us in this situation. In these meets. I could tell you this, and Bonner lost by 2, by the way. I could tell you that Lansdale Catholic did not see that coming. I could tell you that I did not see that coming. I was a huge supporter of Bonner all year, as all of you know. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see numbers 3, 4, 5 really stepping up as much for them. I'm so glad they did. It's such a great story going in. I didn't see Episcopal missing 2 of their athletes this weekend either. I didn't see them missing John Ricketts or Eli Engelman this weekend. Which would have cost them PA Independent Schools championships. I didn't see that coming. There's a lot that goes into these meets that, frankly, I'm surprised with. I was very surprised with results this weekend, showing how big these team efforts really are when it comes to district championships, when it comes to state championships. You have teams out there that are putting everything on the line for their team, and it's really important to see how they stepped in and how they stepped on that line each and every day preparing for these races. I am hyped to see what happens. I'm very excited to see what happens when it comes to state championships this weekend. I'm excited to see what happens when it comes to all Delco voting, because that alone, I'm like, guys, it's going to be tough to pick a first team all Delco, especially if you're going with the top 7. It's going to be basically impossible to pick 7 first team all Delco athletes out of Delaware County this year on both the boys' end and the girls' end. And I'm glad I don't have that decision. I'm really glad I do not have the decision to go and choose your all Delcos, because it's going to be a tough situation for those people who have to go out there and pick it. And that is a Delco Times picked combination, and these athletes are going out there and they're racing and they're putting their team in front. They're putting individuals ahead of each other each and every race. I want to start with the meet I didn't give a preview for, and it's just really because of a loss of time, as I didn't really have the time this week. I barely have the time to record this podcast right now, but I'm stepping up right now, trying to get this. The PA Independent School State Championship. Now, I didn't expect to see Episcopal Academy on the boys' end finish second, and when I went over these results, I'm like, they beat this Penn Charter team a week ago. Like, they have Penn Charter's number, and I was like, what happened in this one? So as I looked over results here, I looked at the name Curtis Connor. I looked at the name Caleb Young. I looked at the name Ethan Zhao. 3 names that I'm used to seeing. I saw the name William Patterson, another name I'm used to seeing. Wasn't used to seeing Kyle Zhang or Ben Cook, and I was like, Eli Engelman didn't run this weekend. John Ricketts did not run this weekend. 2 of their top athletes did not run. They still had a minute 55 spread between numbers 1 and number 5. But when you're missing 2 of your studs, when you're missing Eli Engelman, who is up there as one of the top runners in Delaware County, you're missing John Ricketts, who's also right up there and should also be potentially looked at for a first team All Delco berth. It's going to be hard to beat a team from Penn Charter with a TJ Zwall who's right up front and Nate Johnson who's going to go fourth. Like, this is a tough team that's going to beat. And Episcopal went out there. They put up a fight. They put up a nice 82 points, finishing second overall. But it's hard to beat a Penn Charter team who is healthy, who has all of their athletes on the line. Now, I went on this podcast a few weeks ago and I said health is going to be of the utmost importance going into championship season. And this was right after Delco Championships. I said you need to remain healthy, remain focused. And I don't know if it's health for Eli or John. I hope it's not. I hope they're healthy. I hope they're ready to go. I hope they're ready to step up, because I know Episcopal usually plans for the Nike regional race, which I'm excited to pay attention to. But it's definitely hard when your top team is not on the line and your brothers and your sisters aren't on that starting line. Every single one of them ready to go. And yeah, I mean, I give credit to Episcopal Academies. They're in this case they're 5 and 6, and Kyle Zhang and Ben Cook. I give them credit for stepping on the line. I give them credit for stepping out of a comfort zone and into a spotlight. So shout out to Kyle Zhang and Ben Cook for stepping into a spotlight, especially when you're missing 2 studs in Eli and John. And then give credit to Curtis Connor, Caleb Young, Ethan Zhao, and William Patterson, who's been doing it all year, stepping in and ready to go to bat for those missing 2. But there's something that goes into your head when it comes to championship time when you're missing 2 of your top runners. And I know I've been saying the importance of numbers 3, 4, and 5, but numbers 3, 4, and 5 are very important, but they're just as important as numbers 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in reality are so utterly important. In this one, it was Curtis Connor. He went 3rd overall at a 16:31 at Belmont Plateau. He was followed by Caleb Young, who finished 8th for Episcopal Academy. And that rounded out your top 10 in this race. Ethan Zhao, he went 13th over on this one at 17:25. And then they had William Patterson coming in at 19th at 17:41. Then your number 5 guy, when you go down, is a Kyle Zhang, who went 40th overall at 18:26. It's hard for that to go and equate into a top victory. Congratulations to Penn Charter on your PA Independent State Championship. I would have loved to see what happened with Eli and John. I would have loved to see Eli and John really step in as with their brothers of Episcopal Academy and really fight for that finish. Hopefully they are healthy enough to come back at either the Nike Regional or the Foot Locker Regional. I believe they go to Nike every year. excited to see what they do there. Other Delco finishers in this race, Haverford School for Boys had Alex Dardarian. He went 20th overall at 17:52. Next Haverford guy was Liam French, who went 18:19 and finished 35th overall. Haverford School for Boys in this one went 9th. They had Alex Dardarian, Liam French, Andres Calderon, Nate Gill, Grant Kim, and Finn Kelly round out their top 6 athletes. In this one, no other Delco boys teams were entered in this one. On the girls' end, like I said, it's very important to see all 5 runners step in and have a good day. I mean, this race was always going to be Penn Charter's race on the girls' end. They're led by Mackenzie Skelly, who I've said before is an 8th grader. Follow the podcast. She stepped up big time. She pulled off a victory. Penn Chargers dominant. 1st, 3rd, 4th, 8th. They're just hard to beat, especially at a race like the one at Belmont Plateau. Kendra Williamson continues her stellar season. She went 18:25 on one of the toughest courses in the state of Pennsylvania at Belmont Plateau. She beat a girl by the name of Allie DeLisi and Marley Klein by a lot in this one. She only lost to Mackenzie Skelly, who's basically racing. She's even racing like college races, I heard. Finished 12th in a college race. She's unbelievable. So shout out to Kendra Williamson, 18:25 on a Belmont Plateau course. Would have loved to see if she was able to break that mold when it came to a race at Lehigh. That's another one that we'd have to be on the lookout for, if she'd be able to go and run a sub 18 on a Lehigh course. I think she could. I mean, there's a minute difference between the Lehigh course and the Rose Tree course in itself, and I believe Belmont is a lot tougher than the course of Rose Tree. So, like I said, Kendra Williamson continues to impress. She had an 18:25. The next Delco finisher was Carson Tierney. She went 7th overall to 19:35. Carson having a great year. Under the radar, this junior has had a tremendous year. She was their top runner at Delco Championships. She continues to be Notre Dame's top runner going into PA Independent Schools Championships. Then she had teammate Kara Sweeney go 10th overall. Usually, Notre Dame is someone who is going to show up in this race. Then you have Agnes Irwin. The trio of Agnes Irwin. Avery Brennan went 9th. Sophia Casey, she went 11th in this one. And like I said, I'm missing some names here. Emma Watson was their 4th runner, which is the biggest surprise of the day. Emma's usually the trio up with her. Emma went 24th. There was Margaret Dooley, who had the race of her life. She went 17th, and Wynn Hastings closed out 39th with Vanessa Lafferty and Grace Vauquelin finishing that one off. And in the team score-wise, it was Agnes Irwin who went 3rd overall. And I'm very surprised to see Margaret Dooley as their number 3 and not Emma Watson. Episcopal Academy, they were able to pull in and upset Notre Dame in this one. They went 4th. They had Hannah Todd finish 13th overall. They had Anna Bradford step up as a freshman, went 21:55 on a tough course. She went 22nd overall. Joy Ying went 27th overall. A nice day out of Episcopal Academy. Ellie Moran, she went 41st overall. Episcopal Academy showing up, showing out. They ended with Tatum Schmedlin just right behind Ellie Moran and Grace Schoenstein. Sorry, I'm butchering names from Episcopal Academy. I know their coach is going to be emailing me very soon, telling me how badly I butchered those names. But a great showing. And then it was Notre Dame who went 5th overall in this one. I was expecting a 2, 3, 4 potential finish out of Delco. They instead went 3, 4, 5. Shipley School had a nice performance. Academy of Notre Dame scored 105 points. Carson Tierney led the way. Kara Sweeney, another one who's under the radar, she went 10th overall at 2015. Alexandra Wolf, she went 21:50, finishing 21st. Mary Rosano, she went 33rd in this one. Chloe Calvert went 37th. Alexandra Fahey, she went 58th, and they were closed out with Lynn Tate at 63rd. A good PA Independent State Championship meet. No Delco top finisher or team overall winner, but definitely a race that I was excited to look at results for, see what happened, and excited to hear more about what their next moves are as the public schools, the PIAA schools, they head into state championships. Excited to see what these Interact schools are up to next. Some are potentially just getting ready for the indoor track season. Some are getting ready for potentially a regional meet. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited to see what their next moves are. I did want to go into District 12 championships. As I've already mentioned, the boys of Bonner and Prendy, they finished second overall in the AA race. And man, what a matchup. If they were able to just put Daniel Stevens, Kenyatta Johnson ahead of Lansdale Catholic's number 4, I think they would have pulled this one off completely. And then they had Muhammad Naeed. He came back in this one. But Bonner, man, it was your top 10 finishers were unbelievable. Number 1 was Stephen Heckler from Lansdale Catholic. Then you have Bonner and Prendy's Donnie Cave at 2nd. You have Bonner and Prendy's Josh Knox Wagner at 3rd. Then you have Archbishop Woods Jacob Bargerhoff at 4th. And then you're going to see Bonner and Prendy and Lansdale Catholic. LC, Brandon Mullen here, James Graham Leach, Michael Babincock. They all went 5, 6, 7. Then you have Kenyatta Johnson, Daniel Stevens at 8, 9. Edward Lair from Commonwealth Egan at 10. And then Muhammad Naeed at 11th with Michael Stetler from Lansdale Catholic finishing just behind him. This was a dog race by the end of it between LC and Bonner Prendy. You knew which two teams were going to state championships right off the bat. There was a no doubter that these two were going to be the two teams going to state championships based off of where they were finishing in this race. So your team qualifiers, those are the teams from Lansdale Catholic and Bonner and Prendy. We're going to quickly look to see if there is another Delco team that has an individual entered, and it looks like Will Wood just misses out on that mark in the boys AA race. The boys from Cardinal O'Hara did not qualify. There was no individual close to qualifying for them either. Look at the girls AAA race. There was a Cardinal O'Hara girl who did qualify for state championships. That is Charlotte Hiscott. She went 23rd overall in a meet that was dominated, like I said it would be, by Central. Now I'm going to move over to District 1 championships very quickly. I'm going to look at, this was a race, the girls AAA race, the one I'm going to start with here. This was down to, as I said, Haverford and ONJ Roberts. I know I did mention Unionville as a potential in there. Got a few texts wondering why. And it just be based off of their rankings is all that fell into. But Haverford Township finishes second to a team from ONJ Roberts only by 2 points. Once again, this is where that team atmosphere comes in. And the team is the thing that's going to matter overall in this one, especially where everybody's going to finish from number 1, 2 to number 3, 4, 5, and 6 and 7 in reality. Olivia Cieslak, she finished 6th overall, with Cameron McGinn right behind, not too far behind her, about 15 seconds behind. Olivia won a 17:59. Only her third race of the season, still running strong. Cameron McGann had a nice, impressive day again. Fun fact, Cameron McGann, I believe, is one of 5 girls from Haverford that has qualified for state championships for 4 years in a row. This is also the first ever team from Haverford High School to have a team qualifier every single year for 4 years. And that was led by Cameron McGann, who started as her freshman year for Haverford. All 4 years, officially now a state qualifier in this one in PIAA. Impressive. I know I got that information. I know you're like, how does he know this information? I did fact check this. I did check with coaches. I checked online. So just huge shout outs to Coach Clinton for giving me that information. Cameron is one of 5 from Haverford. Fiona York did it in 2000 to 2003. Julia Summers 2001 to 2004. Sophia Meehan from 2008 to 2011. Tess Meehan from 2009 to 2012. So it's the first time it's been done in 12 years. Olivia was not on the team for Haverford her freshman year. She came back out with Haverford that indoor season. But this is the first ever team 4 years in a row for Haverford Township to qualify for state championships. Karen McGann, a big part of that team for 4 years. Speaking about a big part of the team, Micah Haskins, just like, I guess she saw my top 10 or heard my top 10 at one point and just got mad at me. She finished 15th overall. So that's 6, 7, and 15. Haverford put up a heck of a fight overall in this one. Looking at the team results, just looking at team finishers, in it looks like Haverford had finishers 6, 7, 15, 29, and 44. So just quickly looking, like I said, this was unscripted tonight. Scorer number 29 would have been... Ooh, dead air. We never want dead air on a podcast, do we? This is terrible. I should have actually prepared that single A. See? I'm looking at the wrong race. That was single A. So finisher number 29 was Ryan Dankinis. That is not a surprise whatsoever. She's had such a great year for that team from Haverford Township. They rounded it out with Harmon on this one. She was 68th of 351 racers. A great race, once again, out of Haverford Township to be the lone team qualifier on the girls' end out of Delaware County. Very impressive. This one was won by Owen J. Roberts. Second was Haverford Township. Conestoga third. Unionville fourth. Downingtown West was fifth. There are 5 team qualifiers. And I'm actually, I'm okay with a loss here. I'm okay with Haverford not winning in this one, and I'll tell you why. And I know this is going to come back to bite. I know the Haverford girls, I might get texts from or emails from parents. Who knows? Maybe some DMs. And if you want a DM, that's at DelcoXCPod on Instagram and Twitter. It's okay to lose this one. It's not states. Now you put your focus on 2 state championships. Now the real race begins. You're allowed to lose sometimes. Losing is okay as long as it gives you a chip on your shoulder. And that's exactly what Haverford needs. They need a chip on their shoulder to go out there and fight in that next race, ready to go every step of the way. And I hope that chip is there. And I hope North Allegheny doesn't see them coming. I hope Owen J. Roberts doesn't see them coming. I hope they're surprised. Because come Saturday, I think Haverford's ready to put up a fight. And I think that fight is one of those Delco fights. Ready to put up or shut up in this one. I'm going to auto-correct myself in this one. It was Evelyn Awad who was the 5th runner. She was 45th over on this race. 44th scorer as a team. So it's the Haverford Township girls going to state championships. Individually, you have a few qualifiers. You have Emma Hyde from Radnor. She ran an where's her time on this one? Impressive 18:48. Sophia Curtis coming up strong at the end of the season. Sophia Curtis won in 1901. Finishing 25th overall. And someone who came out of nowhere, someone who was not on my top 10 list, Cassidy Jones from Pencrest. Another one that must have been angry when she heard this. Cassidy Jones had a quiet, great, you could see her picking up Delcos, Centrals, Districts. You can see her just getting better and better each week. And it showed. She went 27th overall, 1905. She is only a freshman. Cassie Jones is another qualifier for Delaware County, and I think that ends the individual qualifiers with Sophia Curtis and Cassidy Jones. Quick double check on me. yeah, that would be the end of it because Mia Richter was our next runner at 49th overall. I'm excited to see what they do at state championships. I think Emma Hyde could surprise a lot of people. I think that Sophia Curtis and Cassidy Jones are coming on at the right time. Uh, Maybe I'll preview a little bit to see what we can do going into states. I know I want to talk to a few people as we head towards state championships, but congratulations to them. On the boys' end, that race was all in all, that race on the Delco end would have been the team from Pencrest, as I've already noted many times before. That team from Pencrest is a tough team. I'm glad they were able to overcome the barrier. I'm glad they were able to qualify for state championships. They went third overall in this one. They finished third, fourth, 16th, 68th, and 86th on the point score, which would have been, once again, these results definitely jump on me. Rowan Carr third, Eddie Mulligetta was fourth. That's a 15:04, which is one of the fastest times in Delco history, as well as Eddie Mulligetta's 15:09, once again one of the fastest times in Delaware County history. But like I said, it takes those 3, 4, 5, takes everyone when it comes to these races. It's a huge team effort. Nick Fonte, he was 16th overall for Pencrest as their number 3. He continues to have a great year as well. Like I said, it takes everybody in these teams to step up big time moving forward. It just takes every fight that you have, especially at district championships, every fight you could potentially have to make it on and to move on into that state championship realm. So congratulations to the team from Pencrest who is moving on. Let's look at the list of individual qualifiers on the boys AAA side. Clearly, you got a team from Pencrest, Rowan Carr, Edemise Mulligetta, Nick Fonte, all moving on as a team clearly, which definitely important. You have Bart Kruzewski also moving on. I hope I didn't miss. I'm looking over these results just really quickly. Looks like I definitely am missing other people from Pencrest, but congratulations onto your next step, onto your next journey at state championships. Joseph Garzio, he is also moving on. He is from Radnor High School. Garzio, like I've said earlier, just came on the end of the season. Delco Championships really start to shine a little bit more. He went a 15:42. Jackson Kane from Ridley went 15:49. He was 21st. He is also moving on to state championships. My man Joey Lancey kept with it, kept fighting, kept persevering. He is on his way to state championships after a few injuries. I love that he persevered and fought through and is now on his way to Hershey. You also had Paul Lua from Ridley, their third individual qualifier. Really just continues to have such a strong program, and they continue to get better. Very happy for the team from Ridley having 3 individual qualifiers, especially after this year. It was a little tougher for them. Definitely impressive. There's Gus. There's a name I didn't see. Andrew H from Pencrest. Great. Like I said, these are great races overall. It takes a lot to just get out there and really fight on the District 1 level. And really fight to the finish on the District 1 level. I'm going to quickly look at the other races just because I can. We had a few teams in Double A and Single A. So let's see my Single A qualifiers. I don't think I had any. Oh, there we go. Sacred Heart had Lucy Rice as an individual qualifier. Addie Atkins from Delco Christian on the girls' end. Addie Atkins went 8th overall. Lucy Rice went 9th overall. She is from Sacred Heart. And Delco Christian's Ella Clipston, she would have just missed the individual ranking. So they got 2 on the girls' end out of Single A. Congratulations to those 2. Boys Single A qualifiers, I don't believe I saw anyone from Delaware County on that list. The closest was Grant Mast, who was just 1 place off of it from Delco Christian. So and we didn't have any double A racers or the double A teams. So some great races this weekend. But like I said, it definitely comes down to the team effort, where the team fights 1 through 5, ultimate team sport in cross country. And we're going to see that play this weekend at Hershey on a tough Hershey course. Probably the second toughest in the state of Pennsylvania. I still think Belmont has it as number 1. Hershey's a close number 2. It really just takes getting out in that race, not getting boxed in, not getting caught in a trap, because it's hard to get by people once you get to the low high hills. So I'm excited to see what happens this weekend. Hopefully I'll be able to talk to a few people. Before I go, I just want to give a shout out. My shout out's going to Springfield. I know they are putting on a race next week. I believe it's November 9th. Fact check myself. November 9th, 2024 is the Springfield Sweet 16 race. I know Coach Logan has been promoting this. And it's definitely a good cause. When she came to me with the idea of it, I said it was a great idea running this under the lights on the 9th, having unified races, having an elementary race, middle school races, high school races, a citizens mile. I think this is very important. If you don't have anything, or if you're okay moving to a meet in November, especially November 9th, I do it. I check it out. Any of my elementary school teams listening, check out that race. She's got one for you. So try to get out there, support Springfield High School, support a good cause. I'm going to be signing off. This is 30 minutes in. That's 30 minutes longer than I expected to have tonight. Like I said, shout me out, 5-star review. Give me a comment on anywhere you find podcast. DelcoXC Pod on Instagram or Twitter. DelcoXC@gmail.com. I'm slowly getting back and catching up my emails. Hope everyone has a great day. I hope everyone enjoyed racing this weekend. Good luck this week at PIAA State Championships in Hershey. Remember to get out and move.